Senator Liu. Item number 12, SB1272.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. The Supreme Court's decision, Citizens United, unleashed a flood of money into politics. I believe it was a horrible decision, but it is the law of the land. And so our choices now are either to comply with it or to challenge it. And so we're going to go the route of challenging it. And one way to do it is to send a message to Washington, D.C. to pass a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. What Senate Bill 1272 does is to ask the voters in California on November ballot to express their opinion as to whether they want to overturn Citizens United, as well as the companion case of McCutcheon versus FEC. LA did this a few years ago with Proposition C, and the difference between a city doing it and a state doing it is if we have 2/3 of states that have voters that express this opinion, then that does send a powerful message to D.C. to do a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. And with that, I have witnesses here in support, and respect to request and I vote.
Thank you, Senator Liu. You have witnesses here in support. Witnesses in support of the measure, please come forward. I think we'll have at least 2 seats, one on each side of Senator Liu at the table that you can utilize, and if you can form a line behind him in the aisleway there, that would help us. Please introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Sutter. I and MOVI, Money Out Voters In, the organization I represent here today, are sponsoring SB 1272, the Overturn Citizens United Act, which we ask you to pass out of committee today and speed its way to the November 2014 statewide ballot. Senator, I'm new to this. We have a lot of petitioners who are here with many petitions. I don't know at what point is the appropriate point for them to come and put petitions on the table. Would that time be now? Should I wait for that, or?
No, so for those of you who may be first-timers here to testifying in the legislature, what we can do is have the sergeants receive those petitions, and they'll be in charge of distributing to members of the committee, members of the entire Senate, if you wish. But for those who wish to testify, you'll all be afforded an opportunity to take a couple of minutes, one by one, as we come forward, and use the microphones at the table.
Terrific. The petitions are with this woman right here. Holly Mosher has over 10,000 signatures that were gathered by a site hosted by Democracy for America for Us.
Great. Thank you.
Also, Joe's got them. Great. All right. I think the sergeant will be able to find them, I think, yes?
Yes.
So before I continue, I would like to add an item to the committee staff analysis regarding California's history of statewide advisory measures. In 2007, SB 924, introduced by then President pro tempore Don Perata, would have placed an advisory measure on the California presidential primary ballot in February 2008, calling for the immediate withdrawal of troops from Iraq. It passed both chambers of the legislature and was vetoed by then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger on the grounds that it would have been too divisive. Also missing, and we understand the exigencies and time of compiling, and we didn't get out of Ledge Council until about 12 days ago, some of our key endorsing organizations were left off the staff analysis, including Democracy for America, Common Cause, and the California Clean Money Campaign. We also have over 10,000 signatures gathered by us. I think over 3,000 by California Clean Money Campaign in just a couple of days. And you are probably aware of the over 3,300 individual faxes of support that have been sent into the committee. So while the 28th Amendment movement is vast and growing, 16 state legislatures have passed resolutions. Resolutions are working their way through 22 more states' legislatures, and municipalities across the country in all but 8 states have passed local resolutions. California's call for action from the U.S. Congress has been particularly robust. Our legislature passed AJR 1 in January of 2012, and to date, 56 California cities and towns have called for an amendment. Among the actions have been ballot measures in San Francisco in 2012 and Los Angeles in 2013, passing by overwhelming margins, 81% and 76% respectively. In fact, anywhere in the country where measures have been on the ballot, they have passed with at least 73% of the popular vote. Even in Montana, with 75% of the vote in November 2012, as the state was voting a 55% majority to Mitt Romney. The 28th Amendment movement has been called the most dynamic yet undercovered movement in America. If California were to place a voter advisory measure on the statewide ballot in November, we could spark the conversation our nation so desperately needs and wants to have. We have used our voter advisory measure in California sparingly. Historically, this has been when national policy is deeply at odds with the will of the people. 1892, regarding the direct election of senators, which helped lead to a 17th Amendment. 1982, the signature-driven measure calling for nuclear disarmament, and in the previously mentioned instance in 2007, calling for the immediate withdrawal of troops from Iraq. This is such an instance. In the wake of the recent McCutcheon decision, where the Supreme Court cited its own Citizens United ruling as precedent for McCutcheon, it's easy to predict the next steps that this court will take, incrementally removing the remaining barriers to any sort of campaign contribution from anywhere to anywhere, as they continue the judicial jiu-jitsu that allows them to claim that money is the same thing as free speech. As one man in our hearing before the Los Angeles City Council in December of 2011 asked, if money equals free speech, what does no money equal? Or as Thomas Jefferson put it in 1816, 40 years after the Second Continental Congress, the end of democracy and the defeat of the American Revolution will occur when government falls into the hands of lending institutions and moneyed corporations. Thank you, Senator Liu, for your leadership in response to the outcry from your constituents, of which I am proud to say I am one, and for recognizing the true emergency that confronts us as the Supreme Court of the United States unaccountably and unapologetically catapults us on a trajectory that does herald the end of our democracy. Madam Chair, if you were here, members of the committee, if you were here, please give Californians the opportunity to voice their outrage over these perverse SCOTUS decisions at the ballot box. For when California has a conversation, the nation has that conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next witness in support, please. And I ask that you be a little bit briefer than the previous speaker.
Okay, my name is Gordon Miller. I'm with Central Contra Costa Move On Council and other organizations, but I'll leave it at that. As Michelle mentioned, the SCOTUS decisions of the past several decades have been particularly egregious, and they have contributed to a profound loss of faith in government throughout American society. And this, in turn, is bad for government and people in it, because it leads to a loss of legitimacy of government. And this, in turn, is bad also for business, small, medium, and big, because it leads to a loss of social stability. Bad SCOTUS decisions can destabilize our society and leave bad legacies. So regardless of your party or your ideology, it's essential that these decisions be overturned, because social stability is critical. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
Good afternoon to members of the committee. I'm Sarah Swanbeck. I'm here on behalf of California Common Cause. And just very briefly, in the wake of deregulation of our country's campaign finance system at a federal level, we think it's important that California send a strong message that money is not speech. We think SB 1272 would just do just that, and we ask you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
My name is Jan Ryan. I'm a member of Sacramento Move to Amend and a retired law professor. I support this bill, but respectfully wish to offer a friendly clarification. Because of Section 2G and Section 4A's final phrase, I read this bill as giving voters the chance to support a constitutional amendment that eliminates all corporate personhood rights under the U.S. Constitution, not just those under the First Amendment. Yet the title of the act and the Legislative Council's digest give the impression that this act concerns only Citizens United and the First Amendment. I therefore offer a friendly amendment to change Section 1 to read, "This act shall be known and may be cited as the Overturn Citizens United and Eliminate All Corporate Personhood Rights Act," and that the Legislative Council's digest reflect this change. For the reasons given in Section 2G, the doctrines of corporate personhood and money as speech must be eliminated root and branch to restore a people's democracy. My reasons for urging this clarification are, first, to make it clear to the voting public, because this is an educational activity, to make it clear that the harms caused by corporate personhood rights run wider and deeper than just the problems caused by Citizens United and now McCutcheon. And in addition, I want anything coming from the states to be as clear as can be, because this Supreme Court majority will grasp at any lack of clarity to fashion a ruling to protect mega corporations from the will of the people. So I don't know how this works here, but I don't know if Senator Liu would accept that friendly amendment.
I think what we'll do is, after we hear from all the witnesses, we'll give Senator Liu an opportunity, should he choose to address any of the recommendations that are made for or against. Senator Liu is the author. I respect you as a sponsor, but Senator Liu is the author, and so we will defer to him to choose to respond.
Thank you very much.
Next witness, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. My name is Cindy Fowler, and I'm from Long Beach, California, and this is the issue of the day. Please support SB 1272. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
Garo Manjikian with CalPERG, the California Public Interest Research Group, in support of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
Hello. My name is Michael Weissman. I'm the chairman of the Santa Barbara chapter of Money Out, Voters In. We're associated with the LA organization. And I just came to thank Senator Liu very much for sponsoring this bill, and to thank Hannah Beth Jackson, who I understand is on her way down here, as the co-sponsor. We feel very passionately that this type of bill, to get movement towards the constitutional amendment, is the way to get to the root of the problem of excessive campaign spending. So we support this. We have 650 people in Santa Barbara who support this. We have 25 active members within our organization. There's a lot of support down there in Santa Barbara.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next witness, please.
John Watson, also with Money Out, Voters In of Santa Barbara. I moved to Santa Barbara from Texas 2 years ago, and I'm very happy to be in California where I can support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
Hello, I'm Sheila Fish. I'm the chair of the Northern California Voters People, excuse me, I got a little nervous. Money Out People in Coalition. We have 15 member groups, and this is everything that we're focused on. We think that the groundswell of opinion now is 80% of the general public wants to get money out of the politics and are feeling very jaded. So I hope you will join with us in hopefully this vote. It will be very important for California to take a stand.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
My name is Eloise Hammond, and last evening my Tri-Valley Democratic Club endorsed this bill, and I saw ex-Justice Stevens on the PBS NewsHour and the New York Times arguing for a constitutional amendment. It is quite extraordinary when an ex-justice criticizes the current court. He really thinks that they have done a great injustice to our democracy.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
My name is Joe Ely. I'm here on behalf of the California Clean Money Campaign. I'm a working group coordinator in the East Bay. And I just delivered to the Sergeant at Arms 8,000 signatures that were signed by our membership. They were collected during the last 3 days. Our campaign, the California Clean Money Campaign, strongly urge that you vote aye for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
My name is Brad Tuvey. I'm from San Ramon, California. I'm just representing myself as a common citizen. I believe that this is the most important issue facing my generation and other generations. Our democracy is at stake. I believe by putting this bill out for the public to vote on it, I think it will be of a public awareness that is not seen today. A lot of people don't even understand what Citizens United or the McCutcheon Supreme Court decision is about. This will bring it to the public attention. I think it's critical that we put this bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Hi, my name is Mary Linton, and I'm from San Ramon, California. So thank you, Madam Chairman, and thank you, Senators, for your time and attention. I think this is an extremely important issue. I can't believe it happened 4 years ago, and I thought, my mother died, and I thought, oh, they'll fix it, they'll fix it. Well, 4 years later, they haven't fixed it. I'm glad the Senate or our legislature passed a measure a year or two ago. I think it was AJR 1 or 2 or something like that along the same lines. And I read a document on the state Senate's website saying they weren't clear why this was any different from what was passed previously. Well, I think putting it on the ballot will give hope to a lot of people, because I've gone door to door in my neighborhood. People say, well, some aren't aware of it, some are aware of it but think it's hopeless. And this will let people know it is not hopeless. You can express yourself right here and right now, and your government will be listening. So I strongly urge an aye vote, and thank you all very much.
Thank you. Next witness.
Hello, I'm Dorothy Nabel from Sacramento, and I'm with the California Clean Money Campaign. I'd just like to say that most people think about about decisions of the Supreme Court about as much as they think about changing dishwashing liquid. They don't worry about it in general. But there's a related poll that shows the number of people that are who are worried about this, and that is that within the Citizens United decision, within 1.5 years of that decision, a Pew poll of thousands of Californians said that it relates to our bill, the California Disclose Act. It showed that across the board, Californians, by 84% across the board, that includes 82% of Tea Party members, wanted disclosure of who's paying for things during elections. And that is because that was one of the only things the general public could think to do about this horrible influx of money that had never been available before for elections. So I think that speaks highly to the need for this. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Next witness.
Yeah. My name is Lynn McKechnie, and I'm from Sierra County. And I'm here just representing mainly myself, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, and all those future generations that depend on us keeping the United States a democracy as we would hope that it would be. And I would strongly hope that you would support this bill.
Thank you. And I want to remind the audience that there's no photography in the room. It is being taped, so please respect the rules of the committee. Next witness.
Okay, I'm Shirley Scholenguski. I'm with Move On and Coalition of Money Out People. Money Out People In. Sorry, I'm a little nervous too. Okay, and I'm also a retired parole agent, and so I'm used to working with the disenfranchised population, and I see that what this decision has been causing is going to cause the entire majority of the population to be disenfranchised. I strongly believe that one person should have one vote, but when a corporation is using the amount of money that they use, I think that it's disproportionate and unfair, and I think everybody deserves to have a say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Holly Mosher. I came from Ted Lieu's district. I'm very proud that he has sponsored this bill, and I apologize for filming. I didn't know the rules.
Okay.
I'm a filmmaker, and I've been making a film on money in politics for the last 7 years. And 4 years ago, we saw a huge shift, and we thought we were going to be done with the film, in 4 years. And suddenly, the floodgates were unleashed. And so now, 7 years later, we've seen $10 billion got spent on the last election cycle. And Move On did a petition of a poll of their members this year, and it was their #1 issue. And Our Time, which works with young people, did a poll of their constituents, 18 to 35-year-olds. This is their #2 issue. So this is across the board, across the ages, across everything. So you can see by the turnout, we really hope that you pass this out and we get to vote on it.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Is there any witnesses in opposition? Questions from the members?
Happy to be supportive, and as Senator Lee, you and I have spoken earlier in the day, happy to come on as a co-author at the appropriate time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And would you like to close?
There was one issue raised, and we'll work with all the stakeholders as we go forward. But I think the purpose of this bill is to hopefully get California and then 2/3 of the states to send the same message of the voters expressing their opinion, overturn Citizens United, so that Washington, D.C. can then do a constitutional amendment to overturn the decision. And with that, respect request, and I vote.
Thank you. And I also want to thank you for your efforts in bringing this bill forward. In my own home district, 2 years ago, we saw $5 million, roll in the last 3 weeks before a congressional election, which completely changed what would have been the outcome of an election. It's unfortunate that big money like that can just roll into a district and have such influence over an area. So thank you for your efforts, and I'm also happy to have been added as a co-author of our bill.
Oh, thank you.
And the motion is due pass to Appropriations Committee. Madam Secretary? Yes. Senator Padilla made the motion.
Torres?
Aye.
Torres, aye. Anderson? Hancock? Jackson? Padilla? Padilla, aye.
I have 2 votes. We'll leave it open for the rest of the members to come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Hill, welcome.